Hi, Paul Hatton here with Tulsa Powersports at the legendary corner of 21st and Yale. First in our series of BG videos for YouTube channel. So Dave Disco is here with us today, and he's gonna kind of go over some products and just go over everything about what we offer here in a series of videos. So stay tuned. Dave?
Well, today we're going to talk about oil additives. In specific, this is called Engine Performance Concentrate. We're going to kind of talk about how that works and what the benefits are to a motorcycle or any engine that you can put it in. It's very similar to this product right here. As a matter of fact, the formulations are almost identical. It's just in a different package. But this is called BG Motor Oil Additive. Very, very popular in the entire world of the auto industry. It's actually considered the best oil additive that's on the market. We do a lot of standardized industry testing. Some of the results that we do, we post and we use them for training. This is basically what they call an oxidation stability chart. And this basically tells you how an oil will perform by itself. You'll see there's these green bars there. And then you'll see where the blue bars are underneath. Those bars represent the oil after you put the BG additive in. So this test in specific is called an ASTM D4742. That is a oxidation stability test. So in other words, if an oil oxidizes, that means it's going to lose its ability to lubricate. So if we can take an oil and we have some pretty popular oils here that can perform very well, and then we can make them perform better than what they were right out of the bottle, then we've accomplished something. This test has to be performed in a laboratory, so it's not something I can show you, but this test here is something else that we can add to our whole entire realm of what the additive does. Very similar to what's called a Phalix wear pin test, and we actually do use a official Phalix wear pin. It's actually clamped into this device right here. Don't know if you can see it real well, but I'll explain it to you. I'll bring it up to you later. With this particular demo, we have an engine here, or a simulation of an engine. And we can start our engine. You can see we got you could call it a crankshaft, you can call it a camshaft, whatever you're thinking, is now on here revolving. Okay, this motor is running. Right now, there's no oil. There's nothing in this pan. I'll kind of show you real quick so you can see it better. All you people who are watching, the oil pan is dry. The engine is running dry, okay? And I'll just kind of leave this down here for the moment. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you what happens when an engine locks up. So if you hear that noise there, that screeching noise, high-pitched screeching, and then boom, your engine's locked. And that's what would happen if you had two metal components that were contacting each other with no lubrication. We would expect to see just what we saw there. We saw the engine lock up. Okay, so now what we can do is we can start to add lubricants into this. We can put anybody's motor oil that you can think of. Of course, we're at Tulsa Powersports, and we got Hondas here. We're gonna use Honda's oil in there. But one thing I wanted to show you before I start that, I wanted you all to see what this bearing looks like. If you take a look here, you can see there's a pretty deep scar here on the bearing. That represents the wear. That's what we do not want in our engines. Hopefully you guys can see that pretty good. And so something else we want to check real quick before I start here too is with a dry run here, we want to be able to look at how many foot-pounds it takes to lock up this motor with no lubricant in it. And the reason we need to know that is because we need to have what's called a baseline. In other words, what does it take to do it without anything in there? So right now, I'm right about that 15, 16 foot-pound mark. Okay, so that gives you that kind of benchmark. I'm going to turn my bearing so I get a fresh surface, tighten that down. I'm going to put my oil pan back up, and I'm going to take my Honda GN4, this is a 10W40 oil. We're going to put it in the crankcase. You've got the oil kind of pumping over the surface there, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to run this again and see how much more force it takes to lock up this bearing. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, try it again. About 25 roughly. I'm going to do it one more time. Yep, 25 foot-pounds. Okay, so we gained in pressure 10 foot-pounds of pressure down on that bearing. So what we would expect to see is just what we saw here, right? We had those two metal surfaces. Now we added in the lubricant. And really what we're checking is something called film strength. Okay, that's that little bit of protection you have between those two metal surfaces, it's a film of strength. And if we can bust through that, that's why we use the torque wrench to put down pressure, that's when the engine will lock. And that tells you basically how the anti-wear additives work in that particular oils package. Okay, so I want you guys to think about it this way too. Think about the word hydroplane. When we're driving down the road and it's wet out, we don't want a hydroplane. And that's absolutely true. But in the motor, we have to hydroplane. If we don't, we have engine wear. What we're gonna do is we're gonna see if we can increase the ability for that engine to hydroplane if we put an additive in there. So I'm gonna do the same thing I did. I'm gonna switch this bearing around. I'm gonna take the engine performance concentrate. This is the motorcycle size. Okay, we're gonna dump it in the crankcase. And now we're gonna test to see if we've improved that film strength. Okay, at 25 foot-pounds, we were locking up with that Honda oil. I'm holding right now at 25, and I have no engine lockup. So I'm gonna go a little further now. I'm gonna try to go double. So right now, I'm at 50 foot-pounds. I have doubled the protection of that engine just by that. Now I'm going to change my grip a little bit here, and I'm going to try to go a little further. I'm at 70 foot-pounds right now, and I finally locked it. You saw I had to push all the way down to 70 and lock it. Now I'm going to show you guys something that's really amazing. I've got the oil pan down, and that engine's going to run without oil. We're going to redo the test. Let me say this first. When I hit that 70, that was almost triple the protection of that Honda oil. So that tells you on an anti-wear basis how much better protected your motor is. So I'm going to go ahead and start pushing down on this. I'm going to switch my hands here. You guys can watch better this way. And right now I'm at about 60, that was about 65 foot-pounds. I'm gonna hold it here and let it get really, really hot. You're gonna see smoke coming off that bearing. Okay, what are y'all noticing now? I'm holding the same, if not more pressure. I'm around that 65 foot-pounds, and now the bearing is quiet. So if you look at this, I literally cannot lock this machine. So what has happened is the motor oil additive has caused those bearing surfaces to polish themselves so you don't end up with that engine locking. So let's take a look at this. You can see, look at that thing smoke. And it's cooked on there. So I'm going to clean it up, and we're going to take a look at the bearing. If you can see that scar, that was the dry run. That was the Honda motor oil right there, and that is the BG. And if you look at this, see how smooth it is? See, these other ones look like a saddle, but when you come around to where the BG additive was, even running it with no oil in the motor, look at that. That bearing is smooth. So here's the moral to the story, really. If you put the additive in your motorbike, in your car, in whatever you want to put it in, any internal combustion engine, you're going to get better stability of the oil, and you're going to increase your engine protection by probably, safely to say, triple. That's how much better your engine's going to be protected all the way around. So thank you for listening to the video, and we'll talk to you guys next time on the next one. I think we're going to do fuel or whatever it is.
Yeah, we got a couple more we're going to do. Thanks, Dave, for stopping by. Go to our YouTube channel. All these presentations are going to be on our YouTube channel. So stop by, check that out, or come in the store. My service staff is always happy to explain the service, explain the process, and just help you out all the way around. So remember, we're always ready to earn your business, and we are Tulsa Powersports.